Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Thomas McPherson. We're going to be talking about going beyond strategic planning and discussing portfolio alignment and coherence. Because strategy is not a binder. It may sit in a binder, it may sit on a shelf, it may sit on your computer. But it's a living ecosystem. A strategy, it needs to breathe, it needs to grow, it needs to adapt, or it withers away. And today we're going to be talking about going beyond the comfort of planning and into the discipline of alignment and coherence. I'm here on behalf of Your Character Innovations, Inc., where we help organizations build strategy that actually lives in people, not in documents. So let's move on and talk a bit about how we quietly drift off course. So, most organizations don't fall apart because of bad strategy. They drift slowly, quietly, and unintentionally. Has anyone been in a boat quietly fishing, enjoying the lake, and then you realize the boat has unexpectedly drifted across the lake? And it went completely unnoticed. You had no idea you were clear on the other side of the lake now. Well, this is what happens between strategic plans and portfolios all the time. Portfolios need to align with organizational strategic plans to ensure we are delivering programs and projects that support and reinforce corporate direction. However, projects they do accumulate based on habit, urgency, or even politics. And you end up with a portfolio which slowly drifts off course. Drift is not a failure of intelligence, it's a failure of character driven discipline. It's a failure of active and continuous monitoring, of strategic plans, and of portfolios that help deliver. So, what we need to do is we need to ensure that these portfolios and strategic plans are no longer failing our objectives, but reinforcing them. And how do we do that? Well, to better understand alignment, we need to understand the architecture that holds strategy together. At the foundation is strategic management, the discipline of setting direction, defining intent, and establishing the outcomes the organization is trying to achieve. This is where purpose, priorities, and long-term value are defined. Above that sits portfolio management, the highest operational level. A portfolio is not just a collection of chosen programs and projects, it's a deliberate selection of programs and projects chosen to advance strategic objectives. And portfolios, they prioritize, sequence, and allocate resources across initiatives to ensure the organization is moving in the right direction. Well, within portfolios are programs, coordinated groups of related projects that together deliver larger strategic outcomes. Programs, they create synergy. They connect work so the whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts. And at the top are projects. Projects, the tactical units of work that produce specific deliverables. Projects are where strategy becomes visible and measurable. Here's the key. Strategic management sets the intent. Portfolio management chooses the right mix of work. Program management organizes it. And project management, well, it delivers it. When these layers are aligned properly, organizations move with coherence and purpose. When they're not, drift begins. So, let's move on and let's talk about movement versus advancement. We have to discuss, are we actually progressing with what we're doing? So, how does misalignment between strategic objectives and portfolio development happen? It's because of movement. It's because movement, well, it feels productive. I could be moving around doing things and it feels good. I feel like I'm doing something. However, movement based on what has been done in the past, And movement based on previous objectives and movement based on movement that has always been done, because that's just the way it is, well, that's just movement. Because movement without direction is just motion. This is the question leaders must ask every day. Are we advancing the strategy or simply moving because movement feels good and it feels productive? Well, let's go back to the fishing boat example. You know, we are all great project managers here talking, and I'm one person who, is guilty of getting a project and going through the process of delivering the project, busy with my head down, working away, not, really paying attention other than just putting my nose to the grindstone and trying to deliver the project. Only to look back and realize the project no longer aligns corporately. From the fishing example, just sitting there fishing away, not realizing what's happening, you look up, next thing you know, you're clear across the lake. Well, this doesn't happen because the project scope changed. We could have been delivering it exactly as intended, on budget, on time, everything's going well. Well, these things actually happen because strategic direction and objectives have changed. This is because, it's especially true with long-term projects that are occurring when leadership changes, when technology changes, or when customer requirements change. So, that's why we have to talk about the power of coherence. So, portfolio alignment isn't about perfection, it is about coherence, ensuring every initiative reinforces the strategic direction. Coherence is a leadership behavior. It's the discipline of choosing what belongs and what doesn't. And we, as leaders and project managers, must be completely and continuously reviewing the programs and projects that make up the portfolio. We must be asking the questions: does our portfolio still align with the strategic direction? And there are probably many examples that we all can think about in our work in which we're looking around going, why are we doing this project? Does this project still make sense? So you can probably think of many examples throughout your career, hopefully not too many, of projects that maybe started to no longer feel like they were top priority for you. So we need to actually evaluate what belongs here. So when we're talking about what belongs, we really have to go through and we have to figure out, does it fit well? And there are 3 lenses of disciplined portfolio evaluation that can help us determine if we're doing the right thing. So, strategic fit. Does it advance the strategic direction? Now, value. Does it make, meaningful sense? And does it meaningfully improve strategic outcomes within the organizations? We also have to look at capacity. Can we deliver what we're doing without compromising something else that is of strategic importance? Honesty about capacity within an organization is a moral act within an organization. It's about building and maintaining organizational character. This presentation is not about organizational character, but I'm going to touch on it now anyways. So, what is organizational character? Organizational character, well, it's super important. Organizational character is the lived expression of what an organization truly values. It's revealed through its decisions, behaviors, and priorities. It's an internal discipline that creates alignment, it fuels momentum, and it ensures that projects strengthen performance rather than drift away from purpose. Let's talk about a call center example that was given to me. So, in talking with another executive, the call center example was a really good, clear example of having a project that didn't fit what the organization's strategic plan and character were all about. So, a call center had built its reputation and its strategic plan around deep customer connection and exceptional service. But a new project aimed at speeding up call times pushed agents to rush through conversations. Call times improved, which was great. But customer satisfaction, well, it dropped. The scores dropped sharply. Customers no longer felt heard. The project made it into the portfolio, but it didn't align with the organization's values, strategic objectives, nor its character. Instead of strengthening performance, it eroded trust and damaged customer relationships. Was this a bad project? Well, no, not really. It came from a good place. I mean, improved call times, improved customer wait times. That sounds amazing. Who wouldn't want to do that? But it turns out customers may be okay with waiting longer if they know the experience is going to be great. So, this example did actually have some value, improving customer call times, improving wait times, and so forth, but it didn't fit strategically. And you can say it didn't improve capacity because it inadvertently eroded other service metrics. You may know of other examples where a project started out in good faith with good intentions, but it missed the mark completely because it didn't align with what the organization actually wanted to do. So, here's what we'll do here. Let's talk about some familiar scenes around different communities. I don't know if you've ever heard about a desire sidewalk. It's when a city builds a nice new sidewalk, but everybody walks in a different direction. And eventually there is a new path created, the path of desire. It's formed with a worn footpath from everybody walking their own way through the grass. Well, this happens with portfolios. Many portfolios reflect habit, not strategy. They reflect legacy commitments, inherited projects, political priorities, and they accumulate. Habit is comfortable. Now the question is, which is correct? The path of desire or the sidewalk? The portfolio or the strategic plan? Well, neither is correct because there's no alignment. They're both wrong. You have to create alignment in order to make sure that it's right. So, let's talk about understanding because alignment cannot be delegated to one department. It requires shared understanding and shared ownership. Everyone should be involved in alignment, from the C-suite all the way to the front line. If your strategy requires heroic feats from individual team members to have it delivered properly, then it's not a strategy. It's a corporate rescue mission to try to just get something done. So, what does your work really reveal? I mean, your portfolio reveals your organizational character. It shows what you truly value, not what you say you value. It exposes your character as a leadership team. Your portfolio is your organizational autobiography, your reflection. So the question is, does your portfolio reflect your strategic planning? There are some good examples of companies whose portfolio reflects their strategic intent and branding. Here are some very good public examples from well-known brands who, have some good alignment between their strategic plan and how they invest in projects and portfolios. So, Red Bull, it gives you wings, right? So, it's an energy drink. Everybody knows about Red Bull. And their portfolio of events they sponsor aligns very well with the energy drink that gives you wings, the energy that the company is trying to convey to people, quite literally. So, Red Bull, the portfolio of their investments and projects, their portfolio includes the sponsorship of extreme sports. I mean, what is more energetic than extreme sports? Not much. Red Bull Energy, Red Bull gives you wings, extreme sports. Hopefully they have wings when they're doing some of these. Red Bull, it also sponsors F1 racing. Not much is more energetic than F1 racing. It matches very well with the energy branding from their drink, their portfolio. And finally, well, I don't know what this is. It's some sort of skydiving training camp, but I hope they have wings. I hope they've been drinking Red Bull here. But Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you energy. It's an energy drink. And this is definitely energetic, whatever is happening here. Let's move on to another example. BMW. BMW for decades has leaned into their slogan, the ultimate driving machine. So, does their portfolio of products and services support this brand image and organizational character? Well, BMW would like to think they designed the ultimate driving machines with the likes of the M3. However, they also offer their owners performance driving training through their performance driving training school. You can see it here on the side of the vehicle here, the BMW Performance Driving School. So not only do they make the ultimate driving machine, they are teaching their customers to drive the ultimate driving machine. And they also put their money where their mouth is and race their cars around the world in professional racing series. But Red Bull, BMW, these are just two extreme and very visible examples of organizations that have worked to align their portfolio with their strategic plan and brand character. It's not always easy to stay focused on your strategic vision, but strategic decision making when developing portfolios helps improve alignment across the organization, your organization. This can be difficult, but it requires clarity of mind and courage to determine what projects actually align with strategic objectives and consistency in applying that direction. To say no to a project that seems like a great idea but doesn't actually align with the strategic objectives of the organization, that's difficult. Some projects can turn into make work projects and are no longer good to do projects. This is where strategic planning and organizational character become operational through portfolio development. This is where strong leadership becomes visible within an organization. Everyone becomes aligned in their strategic direction, top to bottom, and more importantly, bottom to top. So, when portfolios are aligned and coherent, organizations move with purpose. Alignment creates momentum. Why? Great question. Thank you for asking. Because when alignment is strong, project outputs improve because teams are working with clarity and purpose. Objective organizational outcomes improve because the work is directly tied to strategic intent. Performance improves because the entire system is rowing and moving in the same direction. So the strategic planning and portfolio development, it isn't really structural, but it does create energy within the organization. So think about this. Strategic planning and portfolio development seems structural, and in some cases it is. But what it really does is it creates energy and momentum within the organization. So, strategic management, it sets the intent. Portfolio management chooses the right mix of work. Program management, it organizes it. Project management delivers it. And organizational alignment turns all of that into momentum. So, strategic management, the intent, portfolio management, the right work, program management organizes it, and project management delivers it. And then in the end, your organizational alignment turns it all into momentum. And momentum, what does it create? It creates belief throughout the organization that we're doing the right work. And everybody gets bought in, and everybody feels motivated to move forward and support the organization in the direction that it's going. So, here are some key takeaways from the presentation. Strategy is a living system. Strategy must breathe, adapt, and stay connected to purpose. It cannot just sit in a binder on a shelf, a dusty shelf for that. It must actually breathe and stay connected to the team. Drift, it happens quietly. Misalignment grows through small, unexamined decisions, and leaders must stay vigilant that drift is not happening. And coherence, well, it beats activity. Movement isn't progress. Coherence is what creates real momentum within an organization. Alignment, Well, it creates and requires character. Honest prioritization and capacity assessment are moral acts within the organization, not just administrative one. Make sure that your alignment is supported through character. Now, moving on to cross functional alignment, it's not negotiable. It has to happen. Strategy fails when teams interpret things differently. If a team is interpreting your strategy and so forth differently than the senior leadership team, then you are not aligned. So, cross functional alignment is not negotiable. Strategy fails when teams interpret things differently. Alignment is a shared responsibility across the entire organization. Your portfolio, well, it reveals who you are. It's like a mirror, it's your reflection. Your organization, your portfolios are going to expose your culture, your courage, and your true values. They are an organization's mirror and they are your leadership team's mirror. So, thank you for this. These are the key takeaways. I hope you have enjoyed the presentation. I just wanted to thank you for having me. Thank you for the great discussions. I'm looking forward to the discussions later on as part of this event. If you need anything and would like to connect, feel free to check us out at yourcharacter.ca or connect with us on LinkedIn. Again, my name is Thomas McPherson. Thank you for having us, and I will take any questions and look forward to interacting with everybody throughout the rest of the event. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Your Character Innovations for more videos.